All right, welcome to episode number 79 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co-host, Dr. Games 101.
What's up, guys?
We do have a lot of stories to cover. Gamescom 2023 happened, so we're going to be covering everything that was shown there. You ready to get into the first story?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's get started. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre tears into Xbox Game Pass this week. August's second batch of Xbox Game Pass games hits this week, with the two headliners being the asymmetric multiplayer horror game The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the anticipated RPG Sea of Stars. In terms of games exiting the service, don't miss out on gems like Tinykin and Immortality. See the full list of what's coming and going below, including links to our reviews for applicable titles. What's coming to Game Pass? Everspace 3 came, it says today. When was this article written? It was written on the 15th. Everspace 3 came to Xbox Series and Cloud on the 15th. Firewatch came to console, PC, and cloud on the 17th. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre came to console, PC, and cloud on the 18th. Sea of Stars will be coming on... Sea of Stars came today to console, PC, and cloud on August 29th. And Gris will be coming to console, PC, and cloud on September 5th. These following games will be... Okay, it's the 26th, not the 29th. So, Sea of Stars still has 3 days. But in 5 days... In 5 days, these are the games that are leaving Game Pass. Black Desert is leaving the console and cloud. Commandos 3, the HD remaster, is leaving console, PC, and cloud. Immortality is leaving console, PC, and cloud. Nuclear Throne is leaving console, PC, and cloud. Surgeon Simulator 3 is leaving console, PC, and cloud. And Tinykin is leaving console, PC, and cloud. What do you think of this month's Game Pass arrivals and departures, if anything?
Well, I believe we're supposed to start with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? That's supposed to be added.
That's one of the headliners.
Right. Yeah, I saw the trailer of Texas Chainsaw Massacre of that game. Obviously, been on the Xbox. I should play it sometime next week, definitely for my birthday stream, if I have a birthday stream. So birthday's on August 30th. Sea of Stars, of course, that's been the anticipated game for a while now. Game Informer did a magazine edition to it for a cover of Sea of Stars back earlier this year. That's supposed to release date around next week, sometime in the week of August 29th. And at the 31st at the latest. So that'll be interesting anticipation of that game as well. While the other games, of course, yes, I've heard of them before, and they've been on the Game Pass for quite some time now. Last time I checked, but they catch my attention necessarily. But I definitely want to play Texas Chainsaw Massacre, see if it's better than these other games that are leaving the Game Pass, as well as Sea of Stars. Because Sea of Stars is supposed to get basically inspiration of RPGs like that of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy. So,
ooh, I didn't know that. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is something I would love to check out if I still had Game Pass. I'm actually getting a little bit of money together, so maybe in a few weeks I'll be able to get Game Pass, at least for a month, even at the higher tier. But that's really the only one. I didn't know Sea of Stars was going to be an old school RPG like Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite game on Super Nintendo. Absolutely, and one of my favorite games of all time. So
definitely,
any game like that, I'm definitely would be interested in. And of the departures leaving Game Pass, the only one I played is Nuclear Throne. Mm-hmm. That one is, if you like games like Smash TV or Total Carnage, where it's just enemies coming and you just shoot your way until you get to the end, and of course the difficulty isn't there. The Nuclear Throne is definitely a game you want to play, and the thing is, every playthrough is different because the levels are auto-generated. So like if you start out on a certain level and then you die, you might not start out on that level again. You might start out somewhere different.
Oh, yeah.
So, Nuclear Throne, if you haven't played it yet and you have Game Pass, definitely give it a try before it leaves on the 31st.
Especially at the last 2 to 3 weeks, the most like I do on the Game Pass, because for those who are not aware, that guys out there, we're gonna stop buying yearly subscriptions of the Xbox Ultimate Pass, because obviously the core system's coming out next month as well. So I want to wait it out for a few months to a couple of years or so, depends on how good the core system is, or the core value system is, or whatever. So until then, I'm going to be able to play other games until then. So yeah.
Yeah, if I get like money for Christmas, I might treat myself to like a 3-month Game Pass or whatever, depending. But but I mean, on the other hand, it's yeah, those are the only games I care about that's either coming or leaving the service.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I just want to say though that with Sea of Stars, this has been in the making for not quite some time, but it's been around talking about in the parts of the gaming industry for a while, to make sure that this launch is going to be a very interesting launch from the start of it all. And I hope it's going to be just as good as Chrono Trigger, if not better. In my perspective, I hope so too. So let's see what happens. We'll see if Stars at least.
I know I'm biased towards Chrono Trigger. I don't think it's going to be better than Chrono Trigger, but then again, that doesn't mean it won't be good.
Right.
It's just of the RPG games I played, Chrono Trigger is my favorite.
Yeah, I should do more gameplay of Chrono Trigger 2 on my YouTube channel. But I've been so busy with the Z League for God knows how long. That's been a year now. I've been doing Z League every day. Not only every day, but every day or every few days for the last year now. And yes, I got some money out of it and got some experience and good experiences to deal with other players to team up with in Z League and all. But now I think I want to try to make some more time for this fall for the gameplay sessions with you guys. Just give me some time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see you get back to Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Are you ready to move on?
Definitely. I'm ready to move on.
All right. Next. 2 unexpected games might be added to PlayStation Plus Classics. These 2 games were rated in Taiwan. Tekken 6 and Soul Calibur Broken Destiny might be coming to the PlayStation Plus Classics catalog soon. First spotted by Gematsu, the Taiwan Digital Game Rating Committee has rated both Tekken 6 and Soul Calibur Broken Destiny for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Similar instances have happened in the past where older games would receive updated ratings in other countries. This was usually followed by those games being confirmed for PlayStation Plus Classics shortly after. An example of this was Ben Studio's Siphon Filter 3.
Ooh. Sony
has been adding many PlayStation Portable games to the subscription, including this month's Ape Escape, On the Loose, Medieval Resurrection, and Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. Since Tekken 6 and Soul Calibur Broken Destiny are PSP games, it's possible they're being added to the subscription as well. Tekken 6 was released in 2009 for PS3, PSP, and Xbox 360. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny also launched in 2009. In GameSpot's Tekken 6 review, we said, if you're a newcomer, the game is as welcoming as ever, and there's plenty here to keep you occupied until you're ready to start busting out your own combos. If you're a fighting fan or just curious to clip a tentative fist into the genre, then Tekken 6 is the game for you. Yeah, how much were you paid for that? So, what do you think of Tekken? I never even heard of Soul Calibur Broken Destiny. But what do you think of Tekken 6 and Soul Calibur Broken Destiny coming to PlayStation Plus?
Interesting, especially with the Soul Calibur Destiny game. I think I heard of it at least once. Oh, not once, but I've been hearing side stories, side games of Soul Calibur for years, since the 1990s. Obviously, I've been sticking with the main line from Soul Calibur. Well, before Soul Calibur, it's called Soul Edge. That was the very first Soul game. Then Soul Calibur 1 after that, and up to 6. That's I've played every game of that since. But the side games, side stories, and side projects of the Soul series, I never really got into. I will admit that. So I can't say much about those games. But in regards of its sub features, I want to call it like that. You can do like tower defenses and Soul Calibur 3 last time I check, and so on and so forth. So it depends on where you start playing Soul Calibur, the Soul series, how much you played, what time of the day and stuff like that. So it's a mixture of different experiences, different Soul Calibur players, Soul gamers, what it's called like that. So, but I remember playing Soul Edge when I was a kid. I was like fucking 6, 7 years old. The arcade in the Greenacres Mall in Valley Stream. That was like wow. That was like a obviously like arcades not there anymore. It's been years now, but back then it was a big thing to go to the arcades in the 90s and play all these types of fighting games: Soul Calibur, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Dead or Alive, you name it. It was the best, the heyday of the in-person experience as a fighter, a video game fighter of sorts. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, I did play Soul Edge. But it was after I started reviewing games on YouTube. So like I'm, like for probably many people, where Soul Calibur was their first introduction to the series. That was my first introduction because I played Soul Calibur in '99 when I got my Dreamcast.
Right.
So I did play Soul Calibur 2 a couple times on GameCube. I do have Soul Calibur 2 for Xbox here in my room, so I could always play that if I wanted. I did play Soul Calibur 4 for PS3. I think I rented it. I just remembered I always picked Darth Vader because his weapon was just like nightmares. Yeah, Darth Vader was in the game.
Okay. Yeah, Soul Calibur 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the PS3 version though. Yoda was on Xbox 360, and I believe Yoshimitsu was the constant guest every games of Soul Calibur 1. So
Yoshimitsu was in the first Soul Calibur, I believe so. Yeah.
Yep. I have a copy of it. I have the remastered copy or the HD port to it on the Xbox One or Xbox 360, to be more exact. But on the Xbox One version, last time I checked, it was sold for about $15 on the store back in 2013, 2014, the Xbox One. So it was a good experience to play, have a good nostalgia to play those games again. I did a recording of it of Soul Calibur many years ago. My first and now deleted gaming channel at the time. So it was ousted by YouTube's copyright. So yeah.
Yeah. So there was that. I did play Soul Calibur 5. I don't think the video's up anymore, but I did like a bunch of chapters in their story mode.
Okay.
And that was basically it with my experience with the Soul Calibur franchise. Then there was Tekken 6.
Mm-hmm. Tekken 6.
I'm sorry, I don't know how people like that game. And the thing is, I'll never forget. I think it was Tekken 5. It might have been Tekken 6. It was one of them. I was watching a GameSpot review, a video review, and like you know how like when two players play against one another, it keeps a track of how many consecutive wins the winner has won.
Yeah.
Every time they showed footage, it was player versus player footage through the entire review.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, yeah, well, if you're playing the game and not dealing with the boring ass story, maybe it is a good experience. I played the story and it put me to sleep. And they offered the game with games with gold. I downloaded it trying to give it another chance, and it still bored me to tears.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that beat 'em up version or beat 'em up mode of Tekken 6. That was like, it was an interesting story with Elisa Boskanovich, you know, because she was considered to be the daughter of Dr. Boskanovich in Tekken 3. Dr. Boskanovich was only available to play in Tekken 3 because he got killed by Brian Fury and also Brian Fury also killed Yoshimitsu in Tekken 5 story lore, that is, if you look back on it. But surprisingly, Brian Fury is still kicking ass in Tekken 7, Yoshimitsu as well. So I don't know what's up with the matter after that. So can't say much about that after that event, those events.
Yeah, Tekken 5 and Tekken 6 are reasons I didn't touch Tekken 7.
Tekken 7 is not bad, to be honest with myself, because it has that rage art and rage drive. And if you're good at the rage art, yeah, that's an equalizer right there, because if you get it at the right place at the right time before they block, or vice versa, whatever, you know, you should be able to, you know, even out the playing field after that. Regardless if you are like in a negative or you're about to die soon, things like that matter. So.
Well, Tekken, like I said, the single player mode is really important to me. And honestly, it should be important to anyone who's reviewing the game. But when I saw the positive, super positive review Tekken 6 got, I was like, who paid these guys?
Yeah. But at least in Tekken 7, they kind of sum up the story, what happened between the Haji and Kazuya family of sorts, the bloodline of the devil bloodline, all because for last 20 years up until Tekken 7, it was back home between Haji, Kazuya, Mishima, and Jun. Then there's also Jin, and I believe Jinpachi in Tekken 5 as well. So it was a good summary of what happened, and now Tekken 8 comes out. Hopefully, don't end it at that. The story of the bloodline. If not, then it's even more Tekkens coming out in the future. So
yeah. So again, but if you were a fan of Tekken 6 on PSP and obviously Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, both these games might be coming to PlayStation Plus. So
yeah, more power to those PlayStation players.
Yeah, ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Next. Xbox launches new strike system to help weed out the jerks. Honestly, I think this is something that sounds good as a concept, but it's going to be awful in execution.
Oh yeah.
The new system is similar to the Dement system used on driver's licenses in countries around the world. Okay, this is definitely going to be bad.
Oh yeah.
In execution. Microsoft's ongoing effort to curtail bad behavior to help promote an environment free of harassment and bullying on Xbox continues with the announcement of a strike system. This comes not long after Microsoft called out an Xbox feature that allows players to capture and submit chat clips to help fight toxic behavior in online games. The Xbox strike system is similar to the demerit strike system used on a driver's license in many countries. A player that has received 2 strikes will be suspended from the platform for 1 day, whereas a player that receives 4 strikes will be suspended for 7 days, Microsoft says. There are a total of 8 strikes. Once that number is reached, players will be suspended from messaging, parties, party chat, multiplayer, and other features for 12 months. Strikes against accounts will be retained on a player's record for 6 months before being wiped. Players will receive 1 strike for profanity and cheating, and 2 strikes for sexually inappropriate and harassment bullying. Anyone using hate speech will receive 3 strikes. Every Xbox user begins their journey today with 0 strikes, but any past enforcements need to be served out. New enforcement activity beginning today will count as strikes. Anyone can view that enforcement history to see any strikes in the future. Microsoft said its new system gives players a better understanding of enforcement security and the cumulative effect of multiple enforcement. Microsoft added, enforcement transparency is about giving players clarity into how their behavior impacts their experience. Our content moderation efforts are not changing as a result of the new enforcement strike system. Microsoft has clarified that suspended accounts can still play single-player games and will not lose access to the purchased content. But for the most serious violations, Microsoft said it has the ability to cut players off entirely from all functionality and block access to purchased content. What's up? The new strike system probably won't affect you. Microsoft said that in 2022, fewer than 1% of all players received a temporary suspension. Of that 1%, 1/3 of those people got a second suspension. Our data shows us that players typically stop inappropriate behavior after 1 enforcement, quickly learning what is and was not acceptable based on the Xbox community standards and how to better engage on our platform, Microsoft said. The strike system is designed to further empower players to engage positively and appropriately on Xbox and with the community, the company added. People can report behavior that they believe violates Xbox community standards. Microsoft says it does not have an automated enforcement system, and instead action is only taken after a person from the Xbox safety team has personally reviewed a complaint Anyone who receives a strike can file an appeal. Okay, this, like I said, this is going to be bad. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. You know more about the situation.
Well, I don't know more about the situation. It's just like seeing an oncoming train. Yeah, the train's going to crash into us if we don't do something. That's what I know is what I read. But I don't like what I read because, first off, I mean, what if someone that's offended by it being too cold or too hot outside, are they going to be able to get players they don't like in trouble? Or what about multiplayer games? Yeah, if you're playing against someone, granted, I never did this because the only time I played Call of Duty was cooperatively. So I mean, I never experienced it, but I also played Call of Duty online a couple times. That was it.
Oh yeah.
But I could pull up a video of an Xbox 360 Call of Duty lobby, and every other word will be a swear word. I mean,
or the N word.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like there's a difference, and honestly, there's a difference between harassment and trash talk. I just have a feeling the system's going to be abused, and a lot of stuff that was meant to be just trash talk, good old fashioned competitive trash talk, is now going to be reported.
Oh yeah.
And even if the trash talker didn't mean anything by it, he was just and they said like 3 strikes if it's like sexual behavior. I mean, which is really not acceptable in any way. But like I said, I see the system being abused. Obviously, a human will still have to review the case once they get a complaint, which is good. It's not automated, thank God.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be a dumpster fire like that YouTube usually is responsible for with their copyright claims. But yeah, I still see this being a bad thing. Something that was meant to be good, but it's gonna become bad by people reporting people they just don't like, even if they did nothing wrong. And basically, something that was just trash talk is now not going to be allowed.
Right.
To sound like a parent that, our generation grew up with. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yep. I'm not sure if you're done talking. If I can say my say in the matter is positive but neutral, mainly light. Personally, myself, it's a good thing now they're doing these strike systems because there's been a lot of harassment on select few groups of people on the Xbox community for quite some time now, and I'm one of them in a sense, meaning that I'm among those people who get harassed by this one particular person or persons, and it's been like this for a good couple of years now, if not more so. Like they'll create new accounts and the same IP address, the same everything. I don't know who they. I don't know who they are. It's basically my people I know, the person I know for a while, but it's not in person, of course, over the internet. But still, it's like these players, in general speaking, they have no limit. They have no reserve. They have nothing. They have no pride in what they're doing. No form of like education, knowing that this can be all recorded and reported to the police. And that's what's going on in today's world. It's like if you were like a group of if these people online did this to a group of girls, just females and general female players, they would not be on Xbox Live at all. They'd perhaps be in jail at this point with all what I'm hearing and experiencing on Xbox Live alone, especially over the last 15 years, especially. Specifically for the last 2 years, it's been not hell for me, but for my other friends. So it's a mixture of like harassment, a little bit of just keep sending invites over and over. So it's like what can Xbox can do about the matter other than just to take them off the system for a year, up to a year, if not more so, and if ever permaban. This is getting tiresome that you get one person can create like 200 Xbox gamer tags under one account or several accounts and harass everyone on the Xbox community, even on other parts of social media as well. So I know the person, his real name, I know the person, where he's from and all, and what state and all, but it's just that, the police can only do so much. for the time being. So Xbox got to step up their game in order to maintain the integrity of the Xbox Live services. Because we pay good money for this service in order to go talk to other people online. Yes, there'll always be trash talking in these Call of Duty, Halo rooms especially back in the late 2000s, during the 360 years, but Xbox 360 that is. But those days are over, and now it's like we've gotten older, we're more mature. There's more censorship than ever. We try to fight the censorship, but it's a give and take. Like, you want absolute censorship, or you want absolute freedom of to say online. So it's kind of like, we try to create a balance of the two, in my perspective, based on the Xbox policies and all. But if people are going to abuse their speech after a while, then that's on the players themselves. So it's a self-indictive, a self-imposing problem on us as players overall, as on these communities. So, with Xbox, with this new Xbox system of the policy that they've implemented or whatever, I hope it's not going to involve like submitting like ID identification and like actual like state ID shit in that sense. I hope not. They haven't talked too much details about the matter, but this is what's going on with the strike system. So I hope it goes through with no problem. Hold on, guys. We have some technical difficulties right now. Hold on.
Can you hear me? Okay, that's Discord. Okay, I'm just looking at things like my control panel that I can shut down. But anyway, I do want to see if I can pull up. Okay, now everything's working.
Yeah,
like people.
I was telling too much truth on the Twitch.
Get the Twitch gods mad at us.
What you say, Dr. Case, is blasphemy. You shall be muted for 5 seconds.
But this is what I'm gonna play something. I don't know if you can hear it.
As well as YouTube doesn't copyright strike us for this matter.
Yeah. How about now?
Can't hear anything at all. You might have to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna play like an old chat lobby in like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 for like PS2 or 360 rather, and show how toxic those lobbies were. Can you imagine people in those lobbies now being subjected to a strike system?
Oh yeah, especially people who can take advantage of it too with no problems. But the good thing about this, like I said, the bright side to it though is that we can weed out the people who kept harassing other gamers for years on end. Like I'm part of that experience in a sense, because I know this one guy for how many years now, and it's like he doesn't know when to stop. He doesn't know when to stop inviting my friends over. To his part of the chat, whatever the case may be. And he sent these weird pictures and messages via Discord and all. I know I shouldn't be talking about this publicly in a sense, but obviously I'm not mentioning his name for a sake of privacy, and also pendant on law-related matters too. So I'm not going to give him any credit. But the problem is that these gamers just don't know when to stop, or these certain games, I should say, don't know when to stop. They have no limits on their speech, whatever, or harassment. Because if you do this to like a group of girls, I know it sounds discriminatory. I'm saying all this. It sounds misogynist, whatever, but it sounds like it's the truth. Like if he did what he did to us for a couple of years now, within not even the first week, he'll be in jail for all the weird stuff he put on Xbox Live. Because no group of people will not tolerate this outside of the hardcore gamers of sorts. You want to call it like that. So.
Yeah. So, again, like I said, it sounds good as a concept on paper. It just sounds bad on. It sounds like it's going to be bad in execution. It just sounds like a lot of innocent people are going to get hurt. But then again, they did say up to 1%, only 1% of Xbox online players receive more than one strike anyway, which wouldn't do anything to them. So.
Right. And I hope to goodness that we'll get better as a community to get better at showing some lines crossing and stuff like that, not being crossed, whatever. But at the same time, these are just younger guys. Well, actually, the guy I'm talking about, who's harassing the other players, is in his mid-20s. So it's kind of like the maturity value is losing as time progresses. So they average, let's say, 60-year-old in today's world, like right now, is much mature than a 60-year-old in the next 20 years, because the maturity value about being involved with the state-related matters, or being on welfare, or being on some form of disability, or essentially instead of meaning that they weren't taken care of as like a child type of sense, a literal man-child, And it's like, what's going on in today's world. I hope to goodness that in the next 20 years from now, it's not going to get any worse with these communities online, Because obviously, this was mentioned by news reports lately on like ABC News about some 19-year-old was being accused of like dishing out secrets from this Air Force or from the Army Ranger branch of or the Department of the Army and stuff. I don't know the full details about that matter, but it's something similar to that. Like these 18, 19, 20-year-olds are about to grow up and be part of the military units and among the mainstream society, and they're going to be the new people taking over for the law, creating law, and maintaining law and order. And they're too emotional or they're too childish, too immature, and all that's going to break down society even further as time progresses. So we've got to find some way to prevent that from happening. But the baby boomers can only go home so much with their power and their power control of the system. So I know it sounds like I'm just talking something beyond that of the Xbox, strike system, but this is just a small thing to happen in a wider part of our society at large, in my perspective, based on research. So.
Yeah, and if you're someone that's innocent and gets caught up like in a ban of some type, maybe retro. Maybe that's why retro is better. Get a PS2. I know PS2 has online capabilities. Get an Xbox original. Like I said, as long as I got power, even if my internet was down, I could still play, Marvel Ultimate Alliance on my Xbox. I could play Apocalypse on PlayStation. I got other games I could play if my Xbox One was, if I couldn't play games on my Xbox One, basically.
Yeah, and back in the late 1990s, early 2000s was the rise of the mainstream of the internet, based on what I see as a trend. But in the 2000s,
in the 2000s, really? Well, not even in the late 90s.
Yeah, well, in the year 2000 specifically, there was a study out there. I got this from Super Size Me, the documentary. In the year 2000, 50% of the households in the United States didn't have internet, and that was back then. Yeah, so back then it was less harassment, less problems with the and it was more mature people back then too, in a sense. But as time progresses, people are starting to go more and more, dumbed down and also more childlike in a sense with their behavior. That's what these psychologists and psychiatrists are talking about too. So, I used to say personally myself, I'm not among those type of people in my perspective, because I'm more towards trying to work too hard to the point where it affected my stress levels, and that's why I was then diagnosed with illness and all. But there's other people out there who are like never been diagnosed before and they've never been treated properly. So there was not this is what's happening and as the end result on Xbox Live in that small scale. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, this sounds like something that'll be bad, but we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I hope for the best. I hope that within the next couple of years, these people like that, the person I mentioned, and that's used to be part of our community or a group of people, will stop doing what he's doing based on these strikes. Because obviously, if you're working in your 20s and all, and you're doing all these behaviors online, and you lose your accounts or account, especially with lots of money involved, then that's on you. And that you reap what you sow. So more power to the people, enforcing these laws.
All right, so ready to move on?
Oh yeah.
All right, next. Alan Wake 2 hit with 10-day delay. Alan Wake 2 has been a long time coming, but fans will have to wait a little bit longer as the game has been pushed from October 17th to October 27th. In a press release, developer Remedy Entertainment didn't cite a technical reason for the delay, only writing that October is an amazing month for game launches, and we hope this date shift gives more space for everyone to enjoy their favorite games. This likely refers to the fact that Alan Wake 2 was originally going to release just 3 days before the arrival of heavy hitters Marvel Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which both launch on October 20th. The new date now puts in a full week outside of that blast radius, providing some breathing room for players looking to enjoy some or all of those titles around launch. Alan Wake 2 unfolds 13 years after the original game and stars two protagonists, the titular author and FBI agent Saga Anderson. Saga is investigating a murder case in the Pacific Northwest, while Alan has been trapped in the nightmarish realm of the Dark Place since the first game's conclusion. Players switch between both characters and can play as much or as little of their stories as they see fit. Remedy has stated that the sequel is a pure survival horror title this time around. To learn more about the game, check out our preview of co-protagonist Saga Anderson's gameplay chapter from Summer Game Fest. Alan Wake 2 will be available on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC via the Epic Games Store. So what do you think of Alan Wake 2 being delayed?
Hey, I get more time to play more Alan Wake 1. You know? I know it's been like 10 years since Alan Wake came out and all, and I got a copy of Quantum Break with it as a free copy as a bundle for $8 on Amazon for $9. And I had all these months, if not a couple of years, to play Alan Wake 1, but if I give myself more time, I can definitely play the continuation of Alan Wake, as well as the DLC part of it. Last time I checked that, I get for free as well. So but Alan Wake 2, I hope it's going to be just as good, if not better, than Alan Wake 1. So.
Yeah, I hope you're still finding the pages to like Alan Wake's story, like you did in Alan Wake and Alan Wake American Nightmare.
Yeah. I played the trial version, not the demo version of American Nightmare.
Okay, I played it when it was on Game Pass, so I got to play it for free. But the thing is, it's weird because I guess American Nightmare was kind of a spin-off.
Yep.
But at the end of American Nightmare, Alan Wake got reunited with his wife.
Really?
Yeah. So, but again, it was a spin-off. That wasn't Alan Wake 2, so that was, I guess, it was like I said, it was a spin-off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, we don't have Xbox Series. Hopefully, it'll be on the cloud on Game Pass hopefully, if not right away, soon.
Right.
Soon after its launch. Yeah, but it sounds interesting. So, you got anything else to say, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. Next, the Xbox 360 store is shutting down. Like many people that near their 18th birthday, the Xbox 360 will soon lose support from its parent company. Today, an announcement on Xbox Wire revealed that the Xbox 360 store will be shutting down on July 29, 2024. This means you will no longer be able to purchase games or DLC on the console, and the Microsoft Movies and TV app will stop working altogether. However, the post makes it clear that content bought beforehand will still be playable after the cutoff date, so digital games on the 360 should still work just fine, and you'll always be able to re-download them. Games with online multiplayer features will also still be functional, though that exists on more of a game-by-game basis. For example, the servers of many Halo games have already been shut down. And while the Microsoft Movies and TV app will no longer work on the 360, your content there transfers to anywhere else you have the app. Additionally, backwards compatible 360 games will still be available to purchase and play on the Xbox One and Xbox Series. While this doesn't encompass every game on the 360 store, it does cover most of the platform's most popular titles. Xbox linked its full list of backwards compatible games in today's announcement post. Here's the most recent batch from November 2021. And I'm not reading like 50 to 100 titles. But more Xbox 360 nostalgia, you can revisit our top 25 360 games of all time. Are there any 360 games you'll be rushing to grab before the store closes?
I'm good for now. Most of my games on the 360 are disc copies, so especially on the games like Fear Files, and Fear 2, Fear 3. There's this one game I never got a chance to play because it's only available on the disc, and you got to get a 360 by itself in order to play. It's called Remember Me, and I had this copy for years now, and I never know too much about the game, but it's like a dystopian future. What's like when the Neuralink takes over the people's minds in that futuristic setting. That's what's going on right now, where scientists and other experts are developing a technology for people to have a Neuralink in their brains. So hopefully, it's coming to fruition in the game itself directly and exactly But no, it's nice to see that what if scenario to come to fruition. So as soon as I get another 360 system, hopefully it should be too expensive to buy them. I should be able to get them in no time. Hopefully by Christmas latest. Hopefully.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so. I gotta say, this is kind of obvious. I mean, who still uses a 360 anyway?
There's some people out there still play the 360, especially the ones who have no internet. Because obviously, even though in the year 2023, there's still people in the gaming community that never had internet, or if they did have internet, it's like just for temporary sake, play like Black Ops 1 or a Modern Warfare 3 2011, stuff like that. So, but that was back then, of course, when the Xbox 360 was still relevant. But the ones who are still like in that poor state of mind, not poor state of mind, but be part of the poorer gamer community, you want to call it like that, the ones that are local in their community, they'll do like LAN parties, some shit like that, and with their 360s, I'm certain. So, gotta look around for those type of people. I haven't read them, but I hear things about people doing that stuff still to this day. So you never know, right? So more power to them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's probably not a big community because most people, if they had the money to get an Xbox One, they upgraded. And you could probably, and even though the 360 store is shutting down, you could probably buy, like they said, backwards compatible games on a 360 for the 360 on the Xbox One or the Xbox Series. If it's not backwards compatible, you're just gonna have to buy the game online from like eBay or something.
Yeah, get a 360 system altogether. It shouldn't be too expensive right now. It should be no cheaper than $75 for a brand new one if you get lucky to find it in a good condition, very good condition, more exact. So.
I searched months ago, and like the cheapest ones I could find were at like $200.
Really? Brand new or used?
Brand new. I found one for like $20, but like it was on but the system was already temperamental. It was losing the front tray had already lost its cover. I'm like, I'm not buying this piece of.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some people out there on sites like eBay will sell like an Xbox 360 console with like 100 games, or whatever, for about a decent like $300, $400, if not $500, depends upon what time of year it is, Because obviously they want to try to sell their consoles for the upgrade to the either Xbox One at the time or now the Series X and S. So, more power to us right now to buy them right away of these good condition 360 models, especially the slim model, the most recent one, the slim model. It came out back in 2013 before the Xbox One came out. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm looking on eBay right now.
Stay here with me, yeah.
They have Microsoft Xbox 360 S Slim console model 1439 black system with remote, no HDD for $50. So that's not so bad.
Yeah.
One selling with 2 games for $90. Wow, Xbox 360 console only, no HDD working for. It's up to $10.50 in bids. So, I mean, I guess I could find it, but you're really going to have, it really depends on what you're looking for. Like my 360 is not working, so I would at least need a replacement console, just hook it up to all the cords I have. If I wanted to play 360 games that weren't backwards compatible.
Yeah, and of course, my situation as maybe a different type of gamer from you in a sense. I have plenty of 360 games to choose from, especially if it's on disc. I could just get a 360 system and do it that way, especially the ones that are not backwards compatible. That is, like Remember Me as one example.
Yeah, I only got 2 games, I think, or maybe 3 that are not backwards compatible.
Okay.
The rest, like Saints Row 1 and 2, is like I said, Shadows of the Damned is, but that disc has a crack in the middle, so I don't want to play it because I don't want to risk getting stuck.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And speaking of
anyway, the store's not shutting down till July, so you still got like 11 months if you plan to use the 360 digital store, but after that it's going to be shut down.
Oh yeah.
And this is just a store, and this is just a 360 store. like I said, if it's compatible on Xbox One, you'll be able to buy it on the Xbox One digital store. So
Definitely, I hope so too. That's a definite point of view.
ready to move on?
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right, next. Racing survival game Pacific Drive delayed to 2024. Ironwood Studios has delayed Pacific Drive to 2024. Initially set to release sometime this year, the team recently announced that it is delaying the game to early 2024 as reported by Eurogame. As for why, Ironwood Studios says it needs more room to make Pacific Drive the best it can be while also prioritizing the health of everyone on the team. As many know, we've been hard at work bringing this idea to life for quite some time, and every day adds even more to a game we're all proud of, the studio writes on Twitter. In this final stretch, however, it's important to us that we stay true to ourselves and not compromise on the team's well-being. As our community grows, the support and excitement everyone has shown has been incredible, and we can't wait for everyone to take their own set of wheels out into the zone. Everyone here at Ironwood really appreciates the patience and understanding. Ironwood Studios says it has a surprise to share this week as it will be part of the future game show with a new trailer. The team revealed Pacific Drive in 2022, and after checking out our hands-off preview of the survival game last year, we came away excited about its potential. It mixes elements of racing with the survival genre alongside a spooky Pacific Northwest setting that we can't wait to see more of. You can read our Pacific Drive preview thoughts here. Are you going to check out Pacific Drive next year?
Yeah, I never really heard much about the Pacific Drive franchise as much, especially in recent time. So is this it's a new franchise of itself, a new series of racing games?
I think so.
Okay. Because I heard of Gran Turismo, Test Drive, Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon, and the ATV off-road series. Those type of racing games, other extreme sports games of sorts like that, of racing and F1 racing. Speaking of F1 racing, I still got that Game Boy original game called F1 Racing for the Game Boy original. So I try to play that every now and once in a blue moon. Pretty good series, pretty good game of sorts on the Game Boy.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be. It looks like I said. They said it's gonna be. It's gonna be racing with survival elements. So you're probably gonna have things like I guess zombies or something to work to drive away from.
It could be like
I'm
Top
guessing.
Gear, most likely, because Top Gear you have to refill your gasoline every couple of laps or whatever the case may be, as it gets harder and harder to get to leveling up to the certain other races in the game, in the Top Gear game. That's for the
on the first circuit you didn't have to.
Yeah, not as much. So yes, but by the
on the first circuit you didn't have to at all.
Yeah.
You'll be like on fumes by the end of the race, but you can do it without gassing up at all.
Oh yeah.
We played it once at my house, and remember, like I completed the whole race without gassing up, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't have to."
Wow. Yeah, I haven't played Top Gear. I have the Super Nintendo game still in my possession to this day. It's right next to me next to my floor and all. But last time I played Top Gear was like at least 7 years now. I was so busy with the Xbox One, perhaps even once in a while the N64, but definitely PS2, Xbox One, Xbox 360, original Xbox games. So yeah, it's more like so much more to try out the Xbox altogether. It's not even a joke because it consolidated all the games into one system over the last 10 years now on the Xbox brand. But Super Nintendo, of course, Nintendo's trying to catch to Microsoft Xbox on their IPs to make sure that it's like on the Nintendo Online system or service to play the nostalgia games of sorts on their system. Nintendo, that is. So.
Yeah. So. This racing game is coming out in 2024. I'd love to check it out. I don't know if it's going to be on Xbox One. Probably not. So the only way I could probably play it if it was on Game Pass and on the cloud. But it sounds interesting to me.
And speaking of release dates, can you believe that it's been 3 years this November that Xbox Series X and S and PS5 came out, available to the online and stuff. That was pretty cool, right? Like it's 3 years later, and so
wow,
it's 4 years next year. So for these the specific drives, so you're lucky to get on the Xbox One next year, no later than if ever.
Yeah.
Because usually, when I see a pattern on the release dates of certain systems or games of that systems, like the Black Ops 3 was available both the 360 and Xbox One back in 2015, and after by 2016 they slowly transfer not every Call of Duty game, but the Infinite Warfare and other games beyond that to the Xbox One and PS3 and all. I mean PS4, excuse me. So. So it's kind of, I think we thought it was going to be like another transition where the first 2 years is going to be on Xbox One and Series X and S, but now, still to this day, in 2023, they still have some games available on the Xbox One and PS4. It depends on what game it is. So anything's possible.
Yep. So I mean, if this is so if this is a game you're looking forward to, it's coming out sometime next year.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
All right, next. So that's all right. Sci-fi mystery game The Invincible launches this November. The Invincible will be released this November. More specifically, Publisher 11-bit Studios and developer Starwood Industries have released that its upcoming sci-fi mystery game will hit PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on November 6. Starwood Industries has released a new trailer highlighting this release date, as well as new footage of the game, and you can watch it below. In The Invincible, players control Yasma, an astrobiologist in search of her lost crew that she must bring back dead or alive. They are lost somewhere on the Mars-like planet of Regis 3. On the surface, it may seem that Regis 3 is uninhabited, but that doesn't mean the people who visit here can feel like unopposed rulers, a press release reads. Starwood Industries says the philosophical nature of what happens to Yasma on Regis 3 will have her forever questioning the scale of humankind's ambitions. The Invincible is based on Stanislaw Lem's novel of the same name, which mixes retro-futuristic and atom-punk design and aesthetics to create a poppy art style. We've experienced a decent chunk of the game already, and you can read our preview thoughts of The Invincible right here. The Invincible hits PS5, Xbox Series, and PC on November 6th. Are you going to check out The Invincible later this year?
Maybe. I have to see the trailer first. Isn't it the one?
Alright, you want me to play the trailer?
Yeah, why not? No
okay.
problem.
This is the release date trailer. Here we go.
I outpace you.
Now, try to get up slowly.
Gorski, you lucky man. What else is the cosmos prepared for me?
I don't know what this will lead me to, but I cannot fly away now. I will bring them on board. Alive or dead. I have no time to waste.
Okay.
Let me know when you're done with the trailer.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so what do you think of that?
I mean, it's kind of reminds me of that. I'm not trying to compare apples to oranges here necessarily, but at the same time I am, or apples to like say squash. but it's still food. It kind of reminds me of the scenery of like the Chronicles of Riddick type of atmosphere, where you're like in this desert wasteland and you be locked up and transferred all over the place, like Riddick, in those movies back in the 90s. That's what did Diesel in that movie. So kind of like that atmosphere. So, of course, obviously, of us, we're involved in alien activity at the same time too. So perhaps even the Sixth Element with Chris Tucker in it, if you remember that movie. So that's why I'm looking at it from a movie standpoint. It looks like more of a cinematic version of itself of these movies, but it's more serious tone than ever.
All right, yeah, it's like yeah. I mean, I don't know what the question is. What you're gonna find, like if it's because she said she's got to bring back whatever's on board, whether they're alive or not. So it's honestly a trailer with more questions instead of answers.
Definitely.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, next. Ghost Runner 2 hits PlayStation, Xbox, and PC this October. Ghost Runner 2 will launch this October. More specifically, publisher 505 Games and developer One More Level have announced that it'll hit PS5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam and GOG on October 26th. Alongside this news, 505 Games has released a new trailer that you can watch below. As you can see in the trailer above, various editions are up for pre-order and purchase. The base version of the game costs $39.99, and pre-orders include 2 sword skins and 2 hand skins. The deluxe edition costs $49.99 and has everything in the base edition, 4 additional hand skins, 4 extra sword skins, and a personalized hand hologram displaying your current username. The final edition is up for grabs is the Brutal Edition, which costs $69.99 and includes everything in the deluxe edition and 48 hours of early access starting on October 24th. This edition also includes the Season Pass, which costs $19.99 if purchased separately, and will feature a new game mode and 4 asset packs, an animated skin for the sword and hand, and a motorcycle skin. You can check out each edition's contents below. One More Level and 505 Games revealed in 21 that Ghost Runner 2 was coming to new-gen consoles and PC, with the first look at Ghost Runner 2 gameplay back in May of this year. Since then, the team has released various bits of information, such as a trailer detailing the story of Ghost Runner so far, and today's new pre-order trailer. You can check out the Ghost Runner story recap trailer below. Here are some new screenshots. So it comes out on October 26th. Are you excited about Ghost Runner 2?
I never really heard of the games of Ghost Runner before necessarily, so I can't say much about it right this second. I will admit that right now with this matter. Obviously, it involves like a shooting experience, right? Ghost Runner.
Oh, it looks like a racing game.
Oh, a racing game, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
From what I can see, I mean, I have to go to YouTube itself to watch the trailer. Should I play the trailer on stream?
Yeah, why not? Let's let the audience show what's up with the matter.
All right. Because all I saw was like inside a vehicle of some kind.
Right.
And that's the only photo they had.
Mm-hmm.
Because the trailer is... I could see why I was age restricted.
Yeah. And you call it a racing game. I'm sorry. I had to point it out. I think it has to be at least a shooter experience like that of Homefront Revolution, some shit like that, you know?
Dude, I'm still showing what you see on my screen. Look at the, like I said, look at this photo, and it looks, and with the machine in front of you, it looks like a racing game. I mean,
it sounds too serious to be a racing game. So it went from like Revolution and survival and Basic Instinct to now racing. Okay. So no shooting, no like machine guns, no getting the hot.
No, I think it's all sword. No, it's swordplay, yeah, but I mean,
God,
dude,
man.
this looks Dude, I don't know if you can see what I see, but if you can, the pictures I was scrolling through, only a few of them had a sword in them.
Okay. This is like it's like a multiple genre of a game of sorts. First person shooter, fucking RPG meets with sword gameplay, hack and slash,
Yeah.
And
well, maybe there are racing elements in there. Who knows?
Right. Wow. I was like, wow, that's an interesting trailer right there. Like, I'm not going to be killed by some tool.
He said, I'm not going to be deleted by some tool.
Well, it's deleted and kill is kind of the same term, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Just being specific, that's all.
Right. Wow, that's an interesting experience to see that as a trailer. I have to you gotta play Ghost Runner 1, that's for certain.
Yeah. So, so anything else to say, or ready to move on?
I want to say though that kind of reminds me that of it's like it has the same feel of Homefront, but in a futuristic type of sense. So more power to see how this game's going to come out in the next few months or so. So
really, I was getting more like a BioShock vibe, just with like swords though.
Okay.
When I was watching the trailer, that was just me though.
Right. I did play BioShock 1 earlier this year, late last year. I got the trilogy remastered versions of the game. Got it for about not even $25 on Amazon last year or two. Pretty good trilogy, I have to say, BioShock and all. I did play BioShock Infinite as well for the first hour or two, and so I still have a save up game of BioShock Infinite somewhere on my Xbox. So yeah, I'll try it out again.
Yeah, I got the trilogy for Xbox One. I finished the first two. I just didn't finish Infinite.
Yeah, these type of games can make you think and also wonder, especially in the form of their pre-release trailers.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Next. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection looks like Konami doing it right. Retro compilations are nothing new, but Konami has put a surprisingly reverent amount of care into the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Metal Gear Solid is one of the most renowned names in video games, and Konami knows it. Years after its reportedly acrimonious split from series creator Hideo Kojima, the publisher is paying homage to the series along two separate paths. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, one of the most revered games in the series, is getting a remake, subtitled Delta. But more presently, Konami is putting out the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, a compilation of the classic MSX NES games, along with the first three games in the Metal Gear Solid series. And I think I saw from someone that previewed the Switch version that VR Missions is also on there.
Okay.
While Konami is no stranger to compilations, having recently released Castlevania and Contra collections, it does certainly feel like the publisher knows it has something precious on its hands with Metal Gear Solid. As a result, this one is particularly reverent, packing in loads of historical artifacts while letting the games speak for themselves. To start, it's worth pausing to note just how many Metal Gear Solid games this includes. The 8-bit Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, along with the off-brand Snake's Revenge together, serve as a virtual museum of the series' deepest roots. The three Metal Gear Solid games are nicely preserved and given a clean and sleek user interface menu to navigate the games and their various extras. The games themselves are essentially untouched, with a presentation similar to the PS3's HD editions. There is a brief content warning at the start of every game, noting that some elements may be insensitive by today's standards, but other than that, they appear to be direct transfers of the original content. Naturally, the user interface has been touched up as well to correspond with the modern controllers. I played the compilation on Nintendo Switch. That cuts both ways. Those looking for a more full-fledged facelift will have to wait for Delta to present serious revisions to Metal Gear Solid 3. And these being re-releases without significant visual upgrades, the graphics do show their age. Snake's character model looks virtually faceless in Metal Gear Solid, and it stands out more than ever with the sharp output on modern screens. But game preservation has rightly become a concern in recent years, and collections like Atari 50 or TMNT the Cowabunga collection from Digital Eclipse, and in the latter case Konami, have become the way we expect games to survive into the future. Some of these Metal Gear games are increasingly hard to play legally, particularly in the case of Metal Gear Solid 3, so there is value in having an accessible, simple solution. The act of playing the classic Metal Gear Solid games in modern day, though, can be difficult. At least they were for me. The first two Metal Gear Solid games in particular were sharply focused on a cinematic presentation with very rigidly guided camera angles, so it wasn't uncommon for me to step out in front of a sightline when I didn't mean to, or to otherwise fumble with the controls. Metal Gear Solid 2 increased the complexity with direct aiming that defaults to firing when you release a face button instead of a trigger. I know with time I would relearn the ropes and find my way, but in my brief time with the hands-on, I was comically poor at these trailblazers of stealth action. Fortunately, there's plenty to see outside the games themselves. These collections are an absolute treasure trove of bonus features and content that help make it feel like a nicely preserved exhibition. Each game contains both a digital screenplay book with the entire in-game script, along with a master book walking you through the story and characters in order. For a series as dense as Metal Gear, they're both helpful resources, and they're presented nicely in this package with a crisp, easy-to-read interface. Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 are also supplemented by a digital graphic novel, bringing back a motion comic originally released on the PSP and on DVD. Like some of the other games, and curios, this can be difficult to find legally, so their inclusion here really feels like an effort to be as comprehensive as possible. That comprehensive approach is heartening. Not only is it great to have all of these pieces of Metal Gear history preserved in one place, but the Volume 1 designation implies that Konami knows it has more that it can do with the series. Given that games like Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Acid are notoriously difficult to find, we can hope that the publisher shows them the same degree of love and reverence that it is showing here. So, what do you think of this Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1?
Well, on my point, as a gamer at heart, of course, with this matter, I think there's a perfect time for the collection to come out. Obviously, it's like at least the 25th anniversary this year of Metal Gear Solid 1, and I believe about the 30th anniversary of Metal Gear 1 and 2, at least Metal Gear 1 for the Nintendo system back in the 1980s, 1987 to be more exact. So,
it's more like a 30. If we're talking about the original, because I think the original Metal Gear came out in 1987 on Nintendo.
Yeah.
So it'd be more like a 35-year, almost. And Metal Gear Solid came out I think 99.
98 more exact on the U.S. systems.
Really? On U.S.?
Yeah, especially U.S. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 99. Okay. Alright, so if you say it was 98, I'll take your word for it.
Because in 1980 I was 11 years old, and I borrowed it from a friend who already beaten the game. So when I played it took me about a couple of days to beat the game. I was, obviously it was supposed to be 8 hours long, the game, but for me it took about a couple of days. So because I kept dying over and over, so I remember those times.
Okay.
But yeah.
So I was late to the party, but then again, my first introduction to Metal Gear Solid were the PlayStation demo disc.
Right. I still have my demo disc of the Metal Gear Solid 1 game. Yeah.
I had demo discs that had these demo discs had 10 different demos on them.
Same here.
I still got one of them. I don't know what happened to the other one though.
Yeah, I still got mine, or a few of them at least, or at least a couple at least, I should say.
Yeah. So I mean, the graphic novel, that looks interesting. Yeah. So this is especially this is really interesting. And like you said, I don't know about Metal Gear Acid, because I think that was a card game. But you got Metal Gear Solid 4, you got Peace Walker, you got Portable Ops Plus. So they do have a lot of content that they could do if they wanted to do a Volume 2.
Definitely. And with Volume 1, that is good for us as us older gamers because we can afford it. It's like $60. So, but when I hear about from the other demographics, like the ones who are younger of a certain age, younger great gamers altogether, they look at the first Metal Gear Solid game in the Volume 1 edition as like a carbon copy of sorts. Meaning that it wasn't really they only upscaled the graphics to 4K that they're trying to explain to me and stuff like that. I was like, what? You wanted it to be at 4K to clear up all those polygons and stuff? That's like the game that it once was on a PlayStation back in 1998, my friend. Like, you can't just upscale it too much, otherwise it'll just look worse than it normally is. So yes, back then, of course, the games were artwork in our perspectives as older gamers, but these younger gamers are like, oh, Metal Gear Solid, well, it's horrible. It should have been upscaled to 4K or something of that sort. Or at least remastered. They're trying to say, but I told them, like, hey, like, it is what it is back then. 1988 was a different time. This was during the time of the dial-up internet. We had dial-up back then, guys. So it's kind of like, yes, Metal Gear Solid 1 never had online capabilities, obviously, but during that time, the technology was different, very different times too. So, yeah. I'm willing to buy $60 for the Volume 1 edition. Yes, I understand it should be sold for $30 for the sake of, like, it's not upscaled properly, whatever, and they probably use the ports for the 2011 HD edition for Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 to put it on the Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S and on PS4 and PS5 if ever. It sucks. It would be nice for her to have a remaster, yeah, and the remaster should cost no more than like $70, whatever, no problem. But you gotta get what you gotta get from these the publishers. And yes,
beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that you cannot request quality over quantity. Yes, by default, but it's about dealing with the fact that the technology back then was so different of its time. You can't contemplate what it's like. Trying to put some old stuff onto new products or new systems. It's like Tomb Raider Gold for on the PC, the Gold Edition, like. When I had the Sony VAIO computer back in 2004, I'm lucky to play it on that system because that particular 2-minute game only supposed to be used for like Windows 95 and earlier, in a sense, something of that edition of sorts. So I had the virtual machine on, or some form of like sub virtual machine on my computer in order to play that 2-minute game. So imagine trying to play it on my current Optiplex 9010 computer that I currently have right now. I'm talking to you guys on. It just baffles me. It's some way to find some way to use the virtual machine beyond God knows when. It's crazy. Like it just keeps getting harder and harder to play older and older games on newer and newer systems. So it's more power to the publishers and developers to configure that properly to the new systems. So,
right. Not to mention, also. And I mean, not to mention the demo disc I had. I remember where the demos left off. Metal Gear I had 2 demos of Metal Gear Solid. One of them like once you got into the building, the very first building, like you took the elevator up in the beginning of the game. You saw Liquid Snake talking to like a helicopter that was leaving the heliport. And like once you crawled into the building, either on the first floor or the second floor, that's where one of my demos ended.
Yep, same here with me.
The other demo I had ended after the DARPA chief died.
Oh wow!
Like when Snake kneeled down to take the conversation, the screen would go black, but then in the Metal Gear Solid lettering, "To be continued."
Okay.
Yeah, it's and also I just think of Spyro the Dragon because I remember playing the Spyro the Dragon demo on the same disc, and the guy with the balloons that can take you to other worlds goes, "The other worlds are very exciting, Spyro. I'll take you there in September."
September, wow. Oh, it's September 98.
The game was slated for a September release when the demo came out.
Okay.
It confused me at first too. It was like, is there a way to see the worlds on this demo disc?
Yeah, down it. Plus, there's a time on it too, meaning that if you stop playing, like you go pause the game, or you can't pause the game after a certain while, and you never played it for a first minute or two, then the screen goes blank, go back to the main screen of the disc. Yep,
that happened to me too.
So
was not particularly fun when you had to use the bathroom.
Yes.
You come back and you're on the main menu and all your progress is lost. It's like
it's like the medieval game from back in '98 as well. The same year or two of it. I forgot what's called. It's like medieval where we play as a skull guy, the skull skeleton knight.
You're right, medieval.
Yeah, medieval. Yeah, yeah. It was pretty cool to play that.
The demo I had was actually long because like the demo I had the first 4 levels in it.
Oh, okay. I got 2 levels started in that demo disc.
I think it was 4 because like you do see Zorak as a evil sorcerer.
Okay. And
so even from the shackles of death, my old enemy pursues me.
Yeah. And now they have the remastered available on the PS4 last time I checked. So I gotta get a copy of that so you can play it on that system one day.
Yeah, the only thing is, I don't know how the remaster is. I know they re-released Medieval for the PSP, which was supposed to be like the first Medieval. It was basically a copy of the first Medieval, but they took out some levels and they changed the voice actor of Sir Daniel Fortescue. And even though he was mumbling, the actor was mumbling most of the time. It still was funny, especially when the witch shrinks Daniel Fortescue to the size of an ant. The witch goes, "Sorry, didn't I mention I'd have to shrink you to the size of an insect?" You see a little skull guy, and Sir Daniel Fortescue goes, "Grumble, grumble, what have you done to me?"
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, Metal Gear. We have memories of those games just like we have with Metal Gear Solid. Anything else to add or ready to move on?
Yeah, ready to move on.
Alright. Next, Little Nightmares 3 announced for 2024 release, developed by Until Dawn Studio. When Little Nightmares 2 launched in 2021, we praised its haunting atmosphere and clever puzzles. Now, 2.5 years following the release of the last mainline entry, fans of the first 2 critically acclaimed games have something new to be excited for. Bandai Namco has announced that Until Dawn developer Supermassive Games is developing a new entry in the Little Nightmares universe. Not only that, but we got a first look at Little Nightmares 3. Little Nightmares 3 gives players the story of Low and Alone, 2 children trapped within the Spiral, which is a cluster of disturbing places, and they need to work together to escape from a threat that is lurking in the shadows. Little Nightmares 3 is still playable as a single player with a CPU-controlled partner, but you can also play with a friend in online co-op. The gameplay demo takes place in the Necropolis, a desolate desert biome with limited visibility. According to producer Coralie Paniello, it is described as a city of eternal energy and certain death. The lack of music and foreboding soundscapes paints this as a place devoid of hope or vibrant life. As Lo and Hope come to a tall structure, they scale a strong ladder to enter into what appears to be a tomb of sorts. Each character holds a distinct weapon with unique uses. Alone has a wrench, while Lo possesses a bow. Both of these weapons can be used to open new paths in very different ways. With cooperative play serving as a core gameplay function, Lo and Alone must work together to solve various puzzles. In one instance, Alone must rotate a mechanism to extend a bridge, while Lo runs across and shoots the counterweight with its bow to lock the bridge in place. The 2 characters can call out and gesture to one another, which seems to circumvent the need for voice chat in such a cooperative title. As the 2 continue scaling, they find a crow that holds a key. Using his bow, Lo shoots the key out of the crow's mouth, and the 2 carry it forward to reach the next part of the necropolis. As they continue, a giant hand sprawls across one of the rooms. While it at first appears to be a statue, it springs to life and reveals itself to be attached to a massive creature. This creature is named Monster Baby, one of the residents of Little Nightmares 3. The 2 characters continue progressing, narrowly dodging Monster Baby, until they come to a room where the giant is peering through a hole in the wall. Monster Baby seems to have a stone gaze, so the 2 children would be wise not to get caught in the awful view of the creature. The gameplay demo then skips ahead to Necropolis' dimly lit catacombs. Monster Baby is still wreaking havoc and punching through walls. After solving puzzles involving large scarabs and wading through waist-high sand, Lo and Alone emerge back out into the city. The two continue doing their best to dodge Monster Baby through the above-ground portions of the city, but at the end of the demo, it appears as though they fail as the giant hand gets ready to grab them just as the gameplay cuts. We also learned of The Sounds of Nightmares, a 6-part podcast series exploring the lore of the Little Nightmares universe, with the first 2 episodes releasing soon. Little Nightmares 3 arrives on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch and PC in 2024. I think you played the first Little Nightmares, am I right?
Yes, I have. I played the first Little Nightmares back about 2 or 3 years ago, and I did a kill with Little Nightmares 2 about 2, if not 4 years ago, last time I checked. PewDiePie played it too, the first Little Nightmares, last time I checked, back in 2018. So it kind of encouraged me to buy a copy of myself, and I recorded a copy of it on YouTube sometime last year or two, last time I checked. So it's good overall. I'm still stuck on the part in Little Nightmares 1 though.
You were saying it's good. I was like, wait a minute, didn't you get stuck in like the 4th room?
Something like that, where I had to use the timing of the electric socket. It was something regarding about I can't remember the exact part of the map, but what happened was that I was stuck at first for a few minutes. Then I stopped the recorder, then I continued to record later on, and if I remember correctly, that is, and I continued on, but I got stuck again. So now I'm stuck at the part where I had to move some sort of switch over or some sort of machine or whatever. I can't remember, but I kind of gave up on it, and then that's like how many years ago. So
yeah, and after I saw your gameplay, I didn't want to try it myself. Honestly, I didn't even know why there was a seat. I didn't even remember the second one being out.
Yeah, the second one has more action in it though. I saw the gameplay trail of it, or someone playing it. It was like, wow, some big giant thing comes chasing after you along with your partner that you team up with in that game. So I think it was co-op too in that Little Nightmares 2 as well.
Alright, so I mean, if you're a fan of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, there's a 3rd game coming. Good news, if you still, like us, have just a base PS4 or base Xbox One, you'll still be able to play this Little Nightmares 3 if you're a fan of the series. That's all I really have to say. Ready to move on?
I just want to say too, I also have a copy of it on my Steam account, so if I ever had lost access to Little Nightmares, I think it was, if I recall correctly, I bought Little Nightmares with the Game Pass, or it wasn't on sale or whatever, but it was no longer there after September. I'll try to do it on my computer sometime this year, another gameplay of it, so.
Alright.
Other than that, I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Next. Hold on. BioWare lays off 50 employees in studio restructuring. BioWare, the EA-owned studio behind the Mass Effect and Dragon Age franchises, has announced it is laying off 50 employees. It says the studio must shift towards a more agile and a more focused studio and is eliminating 50 roles as a result. As for BioWare's 2 known in-development games, Dragon Age Dreadwolf and the next installment of Mass Effect, the studio says production on both are continuing. It says it is confident it has the time needed to ensure Dreadwolf reaches its full potential, while a core veteran team led by Mike Gamble continues pre-production work on the next Mass Effect. In order to meet the needs of our upcoming projects, continue to hold ourselves to a higher standard of quality, and ensure BioWare can continue to thrive in an industry that's rapidly evolving, we must shift towards a more agile and more focused studio, BioWare General Manager Gary McKay writes in a new blog post. It will allow our developers to iterate quickly, unlock more creativity, and form a clear vision of what we're building before development ramps up. To achieve this, we find ourselves in a position where change is not only necessary but unavoidable. As difficult as this is to say, rethinking our approach to development inevitably means recognizing our team to match the studio's changing needs. As part of this transition, we are eliminating approximately 50 roles at BioWare. That is deeply painful and humbling to write. We are doing everything we can to ensure the process is handled with empathy, respect, and clear communication. McKay says this studio restructuring and elimination of roles aligns BioWare with the long-term vision the team has built to preserve the health of the studio and create exceptional, story-driven single-player experiences filled with vast worlds and rich characters. As for the laid-off employees, McKay said they are being provided with professional resources and assistance to apply for various roles open across EA Studios if employees wish to continue working with the publisher. However, McKay notes that it's unlikely everyone will find a new role within the company. As cliche as this sounds, there truly is never a good time to enact changes like this, but we trust that we have the right leaders and team in place with vision, passion, and proven track records to deliver world-class Dragon Age and Mass Effect experiences that our fans will love, McKay writes. The Hearts and Game Informer staff are with everyone affected by these layoffs. What do you think of these layoffs?
Well, BioWare, they're what's behind games like is it Rare Replay, or that's BioWare that Mass Effect?
No, BioWare is behind Mass Effect and Dragon Age.
Okay, because I did play a recording of a couple of sample gameplays of Dragon Age 1 on my gaming channel back at least years ago on my main channel actually. Not bad game, Dragon Age. Kind of reminds you of the Fire and Brimstone, the medieval style type of gameplay of sorts. The dragons and all. Now, with BioWare, of course, yeah, since the 2008 crisis, things have definitely been a blow to the game industry since. It's like a domino effect in the industry as a whole. So, yeah, it's plausible for them to lose 50 employees. Better than losing the company altogether, because they've been behind Mass Effect and Dragon Age and all. I'm very surprised that, that they finally lose. Not finally, but they're actually losing workers in the process of all the trying to cut the fat off of the company and such. So
yeah,
because that's what's going on in the game industry now, because all that virtual signaling and wokeism, they call it, for the last 7 to 10 years now almost, it affected the companies all together in any industry, gaming, entertainment like that of movies, TV, and movies and stuff. So it's like, it's up to a point where they have to cut all that bloat and then start off from scratch, go back to the basics, and I hope within the next 5 years we'll go back to that, have a renaissance of like we have during the 1980s and 90s of the arcade, 1970s and into the 80s and the early 90s, like the arcade industry as a whole. But this time it's home console editions that will have the renaissance. So hopefully by, let's say, 2027, all the way to 2030, when the economy goes back to to normal, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, all this jib jabbering with the economy, with the pandemic and all, we'll see some better products, better games, better franchises, better IPs, and I hope BioWare will have its next Mass Effect 4, 5, and 6 if ever. Have Commander Shepard back for more carnage or more alien investigations and such and such. I'm still playing the first Mass Effect. Last time I played it was earlier this year, so I'm trying to give myself time for it, because I got it for free part of the games with gold. So I might have to buy it full price most likely in order to keep the. Well, no, actually it's a 360, so that's even better. So yeah, I'll do more gameplay with you guys on the Mass Effect 1, hopefully 2 and 3 in the future. Not sure when though, the 2 and 3, but definitely the 1. So it's getting better and better with 1 now, because I was stuck at first, so for a while. Then all of a sudden I was like, it's more action than ever. So it's pretty good to see the trilogy of Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 to be better and better as time progresses. Because I played the Mass Effect 3 demo on through the 360 servers. It was like one of those online gaming servers. You play with each other in team death matches and all. That wasn't so bad. So, and I was told, I don't remember the exact YouTuber or group of YouTubers that were doing that live stream on Facebook/YouTube, because I took part in this live stream of Mass Effect 3 release. It was one of those launch release streams of some YouTubers like that of Video Game Nerd and other people of that kind of caliber. And they told me I should get the trilogy in order to understand the third one. So they guess I got all 3 games under my belt now. I can just play little by little and take my time on the matter. So.
Yeah, so I mean, it sucks for the people being laid off. Like they said, even if everyone applies to a different position in the company, that doesn't mean BioWare is going to be able to take all 50 people back. But like you said, there might be a renaissance coming, especially with the video game the home video game console market. Now,
Of course.
because there are no arcades anymore, or there's very few arcades.
Very few. Yeah, it's like cities like New York City, perhaps Tokyo, Japan. Definitely Tokyo, Japan. They always have arcades there. But New York City, Tokyo, New York City, in the United States, Tokyo, Japan, perhaps some parts of Brazil, if you're lucky. If you're lucky, that is.
Does this count like arcade rooms? Because like I know Nathan's in Oceanside had a game room.
What about Oceanside? I'm sorry, Triple J.
The Nathan's restaurant in Oceanside, they had a game room full of arcade cabinets.
Oh, I think I remember being there one time when I was a kid, or during a summer camp and all.
I used to go there frequently, and like I remember they had WWF Royal Rumble, the Dreamcast game. They had the arcade cabinet of that game. They had like some driving games.
Okay.
So, it's while it's a game room, not really an arcade because it was a small game room. It still had,
Okay.
I just don't remember much because I haven't been there in over a decade. I don't even know if Nathan's is still there.
All right. And speaking of arcade experiences, I think I dreamed about this back when I was younger. I don't know the exact age. I'm gonna be no older than a teenager, if not a young adult. And I dreamed about being this special arcade where it's like different like machines with Time Crisis 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it was, and then there's this big driving like shooter rail machine in front of me. I jump in there. It's like that of a good driving and shooting game, like that Starsky and Hutch type of parody of video games like in the 90s and all. So, this is back when I was a teenager, so I might come to fruition in real life, based on deja vu experience or whatever. But, hopefully, in the future, arcades will still be coming strong. But the fewer they are, the better, because that's when everyone around the world can come to these arcade machines and just see each other's cultures and values and what they believe in games and all. It's a good experience that we had back in the 90s with the arcades and all, because different parts of Long Island and New York City people come to in Valley Stream, in Manhattan, over in Times Square and all, because I'm sure that arcade in Manhattan somewhere is still there during my 16th birthday. I went to see the W New York afterwards, or beforewards. I think it was after I went to W New York. Went to the arcade down the block in Times Square. Hopefully it's still there. Last time I checked, and it had like Time Crisis Zone. They had this alien driving machine of sorts. It's called like a simulation, but you had to wait under a certain weight in order to take part in that experience because it moves around like midair. So I was too heavy for that at the time. But that type of stuff will still be around, those type of arcades. So.
Yeah. Also, yeah. So I mean, and I like, but like '90s was the really big decade for arcades. I mean, you had just every arcade game you could want. I mean, even the wrestling arcade games were awesome.
Oh yeah.
Whether it was WrestleFest or WrestleMania, the arcade game, or But anyway, why do you move on?
But yeah, but get back to the BioWare laid off 50 workers. I hope they'll find work in the future. I hope it's with companies like that of, let's say, hopefully Konami will change their ways sometime right now if they have to move overseas or whatever. I'll be visa workers in Japan or whatever. But yeah, more power to these workers who got laid off, because it's very hard to keep your job after a certain while because there's no job security in today's world. So.
Yeah.
I'm ready to move
on. All right, but okay. Next, we only got like 4 more stories for tonight.
Okay.
Top-down roguelike shooter AK XOLOTL gets September release date. Publisher PlayStack and developer 2Awesome have released their AK XOL will hit. I don't even know how to pronounce that. That AK will hit consoles and Switch this September. More specifically, the top-down roguelike shooter about a cute but deadly with the gun Avaloid will hit PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on September 14th. The team announced this release date during today's Future Game Show presentation with a new trailer showing more of the amphibious creature's violent stroll through the animal kingdom, and it looks great. It features a fan retro throwback visual style and plenty of arcade-like action in combat. To coincide with today's news, a new extended AK demo is now live on Steam. PlayStack Vice President of Publishing, Rob Crossley, says the game's previously released demo hit almost 70,000 downloads, and with player feedback from that demo, Too Awesome has really managed to expand on some ideas and add a few new really cool features as well. Some of those new features are present in the new demo, but Crossley says some are being held for the final release. AK features 5 unique biomes, each with a variety of enemies, as well as dozens of weapons and power-ups. Those are tons of axolotls to find and raise, and bosses you'll love to hate, PlayStack says. AK hits PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on September 14th. Are you going to check out AK, this name of the game I can't pronounce, on next month?
I think it's Exotoli, or if it has an I at the end. If it says that's an I, that is at the end. Never mind. But anyway, yeah, if it's like that of Contra, I can understand a little thing or two about playing something like that.
Oh no, it's not it's not Contra. I know you didn't play it, but it's going to be you're going to see it from top down. So it's like I said, Smash TV, Total Carnage, Nuclear Throne. These are the games that had the same camera angle. Mm-hmm. It's basically top down view. I
see. It's like a shoot 'em up, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. That's what it looks like.
Because I remember from Contra back in the 90s on the Super Nintendos and all, it would be from the top down or side scrolling at best,
Well, Contra on NES was side scrolling.
Okay. All right. I'll see about that later on. If it's going to be a good game, I'll check the reviews first, and I'll buy it myself later on.
Yeah, it looks like it looked like shoot. I saw bullets flying like in a picture. So
okay.
And like they said, it's top down, so you're going to be seeing it the whole level from like the ceiling. So yeah, if this is a game that you're going to be interested in, again, another game that you'll be able to play, even if you just have the base consoles, or if you just have the Xbox Ones or PS4. So yeah, this will be coming out next month. Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, next. Hold on. This one I'm really interested in.
Okay.
RoboCop Rogue City begins its mission in November.
Oh, yeah.
Publisher Nakin has rolled out a new trailer for RoboCop Rogue City, while also announcing a November 2nd release date and a press release, a delay from its original September window. First announced in 2021 and based on the original film trilogy, players step into the metallic boots of RoboCop to protect Detroit from its criminal underground. Actor Peter Walker reprises his role as the titular hero, and a new trailer provides a glimpse into the game's supporting players. We see Murphy team up with his faithful partner, Ann Lewis, while being introduced to police psychologist Dr. Olivia Blanche. Naturally, gameplay involves riddling targets with bullets as you march through levels like the walking tank that RoboCop is, but you use investigative features to uncover clues and pinpoint suspects. Rogue City also presents a number of dialogue options to let players decide how to tackle missions. Developer Teon is behind the project, the team behind Terminator Resistance. RoboCop Rogue City will be available on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Do you want me to play the trailer?
Yeah, why not? I watched it earlier.
This is the trailer that came out at Gamescom 2023, which happened earlier this week, by the way.
Good trailer, by the way. I saw it earlier.
So it's not an old trailer.
Definitely.
Identity. Detroit has a cancer, and that cancer is crime. New crime wave sweeping Detroit has already claimed the lives of 21 police officers.
Provokes a question. Can we put our safety into the hands of a machine?
An OCP holds the scalpel.
My name is Dr. Olivia Blanche. I'm a police psychologist. I specialize in dealing with police officers suffering from emotional trauma.
What's hiding in that metal head of yours?
I think we can both agree that you are no ordinary police officer.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Those trigger-happy maniacs have a ton of hostages.
Drop it, scum.
Anyone expecting a silver freak?
Lewis, you're here.
We need to get these elevators back online.
It's RoboCop!
It's that service box, isn't it?
I am detecting a short circuit.
Yeah, no, too.
Yeah,
4 seconds.
OCP
4
tracking
seconds.
device torn out. I am going to follow the blood trail.
Yeah, no, too.
However, one aspect of your composition that has been severely neglected is your human side, your brain.
We must smash that thing.
I've heard people
Okay.
refer to you by different names.
I wish I had a console that will play
My
this.
name is...
It looks awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube earlier today. It was pretty good. I'm going to get a copy of it. If I cannot get it right this second to play it, I need to get a copy of it so that way, you know, I can just.
Well, unless you won't be able to play it even if you get a copy because it's PS5 and Xbox Series only.
That's fine by me.
And I think maybe PC. Let me check.
Gotta be PC.
Yeah, and PC.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, maybe I should start putting a list of games I like together that won't be available through Xbox, through the original Xbox One, and I'll buy an Xbox Series when I have the money.
Definitely. Very good stuff.
But anyway, RoboCop Rogue City, it looks awesome. You saw ED 209 in the trailer also.
Mm-hmm.
So
5 seconds. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. No, God, no! That was a crazy fucked up scene in that movie version.
It looks awesome. And honestly, I don't think we've ever had a good RoboCop game.
Yeah, most of them were like, you know, mundane at best.
Maybe the best one we had was RoboCop versus the Terminator for Sega Genesis or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, crossover. Not even a mainline game, and they made all 3 games on Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
I know they made a remake of one on Xbox, which wasn't good.
Yep. And speaking of movies, they did a reboot of it back in 2014 in theaters.
Yeah.
I didn't see it though, but I saw the original trilogy of RoboCop back in the 90s, in the early 1990s, late 1980s. So.
Yeah. So I mean, they said this is going to follow the story of the original trilogy. So, I mean, it looks interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, Matt's going up against Ed what's called Ed 209, or versus called Ed 09 as a boss in the RoboCop.
Right. Yeah, so
fucking rocket against you, like goddamn, like the first RoboCop movie. That was crazy that RoboCop went against that thing.
Yeah.
And you know what's anticlimactic? I don't know if I should spoil it though. But it was anticlimactic about that fight. Well, you got to see the movie, not to see it, but it's gonna be anticlimactic with that fight at the end. Not the end of the movie, but that fight sequence, that fight scene. It was funny as hell. So, you remember Triple J without mentioning it?
No, honestly, I don't even remember watching any of the RoboCop movies.
Really? The first one, at least? No?
Not even the first one, no.
Oh, wow. It was on TV a lot back in the 90s. And I also have a copy of the first RoboCop on VHS in my aunt's possession, so... Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't remember seeing it. I just heard reviews and stuff, so...
Of course. But this is the time to buy the movies and all right now. I bet they'll have it on sale most likely this year.
Alright, well, I'll think about it. But anyway, like I said, this game looks awesome.
Right.
But it's coming out in November for people who will have something that they can play it on.
Oh yeah.
Ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright. Only a couple more stories, I think. Yeah. Hellboy, Weber Word punches in this October. October is already the most stacked month for releases, and Mike Mignola's Hellboy, Weber Word joins the pack. The upcoming brawler, based on the popular comic series, kicks off Halloween month with its arrival on October 4th. The game was first revealed during last year's Game Awards and features an original story by Hellboy creator Mike Mignola. The late Lance Riddick voices the titular half-demon. Weber Word evokes its paperback origins with an art direction that faithfully replicates the look of the original comics. Players travel to the Word, a brutal world teeming with supernatural threats, and investigation to locate a missing member of the PPRD. The journey takes Hellboy and his allies to the Butterfly House, a location with a mysterious and likely sinister legacy. Weber Word is a pure brawler, with players using Hellboy's powerful fist to pummel foes while dodging and parrying income attacks. His gun, on the other hand, helps keep distant foes at bay. Developer Upstream Arcade also states that the game has roguelike elements. If that sounds up your alley, you can pick up Hellboy Weber Word on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Do you want me to play the trailer?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Hold on.
You feel the imagination.
Here goes.
Listen to that.
So, what are we dealing with here?
4 psychic spikes measured at over 180 BPUs. Italy, Russia, Scotland, and the US. Your job is to find Roberts and investigate possible links between this location and the spikes before they cause any further repercussions.
That's a fun word. Here goes nothing. I'm gonna be sore. Definitely not Kansas.
Wow.
Good night.
Goddamn.
The further you travel the world, the closer you will come to that which corrupts us all.
Goddamn.
I said stay down! And we're done! Ow! That's all for you! Hey! Oh, come on!
So, what do you think?
Oh, October 4th. Oh, perfect. That's just in time for that month. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will be on the Xbox One by any chance? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
PS4, Xbox One also.
It's called Hellboy, what again?
Weber Word, I guess? Not sure how you pronounce W-Y-R-D.
Yeah, Weber Word. Wow, because I will admit this though, I never really watched any of the Hellboy movies, Hellboy 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But it looked good.
Me neither.
It looked good when I saw it either in theaters or on TV commercials back in the 2000s. I'm very surprised they didn't do a trilogy of itself, of Hellboy 3, but no big deal. So.
Yeah, so, I mean, this looks like a fun beat 'em up. You also got a handgun. I'm guessing you're going to be sticking to your fist most often. Yeah, and we'll find out more about this game as it comes out, and like they said, October 4th, so just a little over a month away.
Definitely.
Ready for the final story tonight?
Yes, I am.
All right. Next and last. Excite Bike 64 races to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack this month. Excite Bike 64 is the latest classic game heading to Nintendo 64 library of Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. Originally released in 2000, it arrives on the premium tier on August 30th. This sequel to Excite Bike, which is already part of the Switch Online NES catalog, and funny enough is included in 64 Tool Wonders The Action, in full 3D with a selection of real-life dirt bike brands, races unfold across 20 tracks, and the game also includes a season mode. Check it out in action below. Losing track of everything Nintendo Switch Online has to offer? Refresh your memory by visiting our complete list of every classic game currently available on the service. You want me to check out this list?
Some of it you talk about.
Alright, let me see it.
Because it's going to be like 25 as part of the list, so it's going to take a while to read all of it.
Yeah, because it's going to be... Yeah, because they got like every game for every system. I'm hoping Oh no. I'm not reading this list because they have it sorted by the date it was added.
Right.
So, yeah, not doing that. I was hoping they had like some kind of like line graph or some kind of list where NES up top, SNES, and then the games that were available.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, did you ever play Excite Bike on Nintendo or the N64 version?
Unfortunately, I never heard of this game until today or earlier this week.
Really? Not even the NES port?
Nope. Just dirt bikes or race games like the Pod Racer for the 64. Then there's also Jet Moto for the PS1 and maybe for the PS1 because it's only had three games: Jet Moto 1, 2, and 3. So I have Jet Moto 2 last time I checked on the PS1. So other than that, not Excite Bike at all. I will admit that.
Okay. I never played Excite Bike 64, but I did play Excite Bike on Nintendo. That was fun. Although the object of the game was to get the best time you could instead of an actual race. You were racing the clock because you could do courses either single-handed, either by yourself or with other bikers, but you weren't really just racing other bikers because there were always going to be, even if you passed bikers that were on the screen, you were going to run into more bikers before long. So it wasn't like trying to get the best place. It was just trying to get the time, and the AI bikers could be just another obstacle. Mm-hmm. That's the way Excite Bike on Nintendo worked, and they allowed you to create a course if you wanted. Basically, they just give you blank course. They had like letters A through S at the bottom, and every letter stood for a different obstacle that you could place, like either there'd be like grass in a lane, or there'd be like 2 lanes missing, so you have to veer right, or you have to veer to the right at a certain point. You can make the obstacles challenging as you want, play it yourself. If friends came over, they could play it. I don't know what's on Excite Bike 64, but this does sound interesting. Actually, I'm kind of interested to see what it's goes for on price charting, because I don't imagine it could be that much.
Especially a game that's not that well mentioned like that, Excite Bike, until now.
Yeah. It's hey, let's see, Excite Bike on Nintendo. The original one is less than $9. The 5 screw, which I think was the first batch of games, is $12. Mm-hmm. Excite Bike 64 goes for $14.65 loose.
That's not bad. Very good, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I said. I've never played the original. I mean, I never played this one. I only played the original. But honestly, I would be interested in checking this game out, even if I have to get N64 cartridge myself. Anything else you want to say, or?
For this topic, not really. But I definitely will give a copy of it on N64, just in case the price goes up afterward.
Right. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is the end of episode 79 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. Our next episode will be, as soon as I can pull up my calendar, will be on September 9th, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. As far as tomorrow goes, I got church tomorrow morning. Probably going to be kind of like an all-day thing. But I will try to get another Total Extreme Wrestling 2020 video up. I got one up today that I recorded earlier in the week. Other than that, I really don't have anything planned. Dr. Games 101, you got any plans for this weekend?
As far as this week is concerned, I might do a recording sometime next week with our birthday, either birthday stream or birthday recording or a special recording that might last up to 2 hours instead of 1 hour as usual. So I'm not sure yet. Right now, I'm still doing Z League tournaments for the last year now. As of this week, for the whole year, I've been playing every week for the last 52 weeks now, and got some things done with that Z League as far as earning prizes and some cash, whatever. But it's not sustaining my income, so I might have to resort to go back to the gym, work out more, lose some more weight, because obviously the protein shake that I've been doing, it can only do but so much. So I have to exercise more often than usual being at home and exercising. So, I mean, be dealing with that for a few weeks to a few months at a time. But during that time, I should have less time from Z League and more time towards online gaming with you guys with the recordings and all on YouTube. So check out my channel, youtube.com, and just search for Dr. Gaze 101B. You'll see it there, everything on my gaming channel, and I'll take it from there from now on for the next few months afterward.
Yeah, and I think Labor Day, that's the first Monday of September, right?
I believe so, yeah. Labor Day must be September 4th or 3rd.
So, it'll be September 4th. Obviously, I'll be off from work that day. So not this coming Monday, but the Monday after that.
Okay.
Maybe so. I might be looking at a 3-day weekend, and but I'll probably be focusing on business stuff, with my website and stuff. Oh, I did add a blog post. If you go to jimmys-deals.com, I did add a blog post, which has been dormant for months. I added what we talked about. Are these Sims 4 glitchy updates intentional?
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who wants to read that. I also added a review up there for Kids Nintendo DS game, La Loopsy Carnival of Friends, which anyone over the age of 10 probably won't care about that game because I hated playing it. So that's basically what I'm doing when I'm not working at my telemarketing job. So.
All right then.
All right, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks for episode 80. Until then, good night, everyone.
Wish me happy birthday, guys, August 30th. Bye.